Hello and welcome to another Let's Play. Me, GamerWolfSix of Sileo, Tales of a New Dawn. Before we start, if you're interested in playing this game, you can get free on itch.io. But if you want to support the people that make this game and or get the news version earlier, you can go to Patreon. $5 a month, $54 a year. So, on the last Let's Play, we woke up and immediately called Diego and was like, I am so sorry. I know that yesterday I promised that I would call you if I was staying somewhere else outside the house overnight, and then immediately broke that by going to Spencer's house and then coming to Unveiled and then sleeping over at Axel's without telling anybody, but, yeah. Just like, your kneecaps are mine, Husky. But anyways, then we had breakfast. These two guys, was it star or something pancakes? And we feel like familia because they like the same pancakes we do. Also, we're getting that married dynamic, you know, where they might do jabs at each other, but, you know, they're fine with each other, perfectly comfortable. Also, it's kind of funny. I've been trying to do this thing where, like, instead of doing just a whole bunch of one series a day and then switching over to the next one the next day, I try to do entire routes. And Sileo was, a couple of weeks ago, the one with the lowest amount of videos, but now I have so many Sileo videos because Ty's route is so long. This video is not going to be posted till next year. 2025. Right now it's May 30th, 2024. Hopefully everything went well over the past year. Right? So, reset face. And begin. A half hour or so later, we had finished our meals and got ourselves set for the journey ahead. Our train was due to leave very soon, and it was time for Axel and me to be going. Oh, Adam, honey, I have been meaning to say how lovely you look now compared to when you arrived. From a poor, bedraggled stray to such a devilishly handsome young man. Ho 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 ho. If I was younger. All set, Adrian? All set. Ready to go when you are, Axel. Look what you've done, dear. You've scared these poor boys away. Joking aside, the extra strong detergent did wonders. I can smell the lavender from here. You know, getting that laundry done? Question mark? It was a load off my mind. Somebody please call an ambulance. If poor Anthony is scared of anybody, it's you, Joe. Well, maybe it's all for it is for the best. You boys have a train to catch after all. Yep, sorry to leave so soon, Mom and Dad. And thanks for letting Adrian stay. Oh, it is not a trouble at all, honey. It is the rare treat that you are still here on Monday as it is. Exactly. It's been great seeing you, Skipper. And you, Adrian. Come back anytime. We'll always have a seat at the table for you. Why not? Do people still call like their youngins like Skipper or Sport or something like that? Oh yes, please do visit again, Andrew. I would so love to see how Axel and you are doing. Maybe one day we'll even see rings on those fingers. Oh, tremble just thinking about it. Thanks for only stay the night. It was a godsend. I don't know what I would have done otherwise. Apart from bumming for change in the dirty alleyway. Shut up. Oh, Austin, it was a pleasure having you, honey. I am sorry you had to sleep on the floor. It has been such a long time since we've had guests, and we simply weren't prepared. Which wouldn't have been a problem if Joe had built a bed like he said he would. Yes, my love. I'll get right on that. See you in a few weeks, Mom and Dad. Love you. We love you too, honey. And we love the wonderful men you bring to meet us, like Alexei here. And whatever became of Randall, I miss the boy ever so much. Love you, Skipper. See ya on the flip side. Kids still say that, right? Close enough, Dad. Nailed it. Behave yourself, Axel. And you too, Vincent. Those good looks of yours are liable to give someone a heart attack. Heh, I'll try. Until next time. We need to get moving, Adrian, or else we're gonna miss the train. Let's double time it. The last thing I want is to miss the train and have to listen to another 2 hours worth of Joe's jokes. They're not that bad. Okay, maybe they are. X and I waved our goodbyes to his parents before departing their house and beginning our brief journey towards the train station. We were running somewhat behind schedule, but Summersvale, being as small as it is, was worked well in our favor. Not that it prevented us from having to run most of the way. We arrived just in the nick of time. Our lack of larger luggage allowed us both to board the train directly, skipping inside only moments before the doors began to shut. Both Axel and I were panting as we navigated the aisle to claim our seats. Sorry, greedy gods. Admittedly, I was very noticeably worse than he was. I don't really know why I walked the aisles for so long as did, considering the wealth of open seats, but after a couple of minutes, we came across one specific empty spot. The very same spot in which Axel and I had first met a little over 2 weeks ago. I turned to him, and he, we shared mutual and known smell before reclaiming this spot as our own, only moments before the PA announced our departure. I mean, I know it's only been like 2 weeks and 2 days, but still, that's like train's a train unless like there's different compartments, you know, like different seats looking different. Good afternoon, passengers, and thank you for riding with us today. We are now departing the station at Sileo, and will soon begin our ascent through the mountains to reach the destination of Woodcrest. We expect to ride in our 30 ends from now. Please make yourself comfortable and enjoy the trip. At last, the train had begun to creep forward, signaling the official beginning of our journey as it gradually picked up speed. The settlement of Summersvale quickly being left behind outside our window, only to be replaced with mountainous terrain as we commenced our climb. Ooh, crazy deja vu, huh? You can say that again. Just was over 2 weeks ago when we met in these exact seats on this exact journey. You're coming from visiting your parents then too, right? Yeah, so I guess it's not unlikely for me, but running into you yesterday? Sorry, reading yawns. That was such a crazy coincidence. Would you really have slept in an alleyway if I hadn't found you? Probably. I've done whatever it took. Love and grief are crazy complicated things. But dude, the train station probably wouldn't be closed, just saying. You can say that again, especially the complicated part. Sometimes it's so hard to know what to do. I've made a lot of mistakes with Ty, that's for sure. It was a situation that was vastly more complex than I expected. But even then, I made such dumb decisions that I should have known better than to make. The silver lining is that I can comfortably say I have learned a lot along the way. A lot about relationships, a lot about myself, and even a lot about some really unexpected things too. Like what? Well, of course, I had been alluding to everything that I've learned from Apollo, most of which I couldn't share. Yet, there was one thing Apollo previously told me about. Something they'd shared with the others already, and commanded no secrecy. Doomsday Clock Disorder, for example, is a weird genetic kill switch we all have. Slowly wipes out a population by making the population overwhelmingly male, overwhelmingly gay, and eventually overwhelmingly infertile. There isn't a species on Earth that isn't affected. Oh right, I think I heard about it in that school. They kind of glazed over the topic though. It seemed fascinating, but before we knew it, they'd already moved on. Yeah, the general attitude towards it is that it's a future generation problem to solve. Excluding the Ortegans, of course. For whatever reason, their case is far more advanced. They haven't got long left by the looks of things. Say, tell me, have you met Jay, the dragon that works at the Café de l'Aveux Monde back home? Oh, yeah. I've been doing deliveries ever since they've opened. Jay's really nice. He's Ty's new bassist too. The guy is talented. Anyway, he's an Ortegan, rarest kind too. Few like him left now, and seeing just how overwhelmingly gay he is, well, he certainly won't be much help, that's for sure. Oh, that's really sad. Yeah, it is. But long story short, I've got quite a lecture on DCD. It's one of the many interesting things I've learned. Weird how those opportunities stem from a relationship. Yeah. Hey, do you ever wonder how different things would be if you did something different? Like, imagine if I hadn't asked to sit next to you on this train 2 weeks ago. How different things would be now. Not much different, because we where did we run into him? Because, like, maybe through Dom, like, Diego, Ty, Lucas, Dom, Axel. 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon or something. Probably. Not all too different, to be honest. After all, it was by pure chance that you were already friends with Diego. Pure chance they would bring me out to meet you guys the very next day. I doubt much would have changed. Oh, bad example, I guess. Well, there's a lot of other choices and actions which led me to the exact same moment. There are infinite possibilities, yet this is where I've ended up. It's interesting to think that small things could have completely changed the course of life, like telling a rat who you're into. Yeah, like what? You know the story of how I wound up in Woodcrest? Well, imagine if Diego didn't answer my call. What if that gave me the time to cool down, and I decided not to make that crazy leap into the unknown? I could still be in Cydonia, still be working that horrible job. I could have never met you, or Ty, or anyone else. Whoa, yeah. And the first day I worked for Lucas, Eric hurt his foot, rigging up some stage lights. Lucas wanted me not to, but I paid Eric a visit, on a whim. Anyway, just to check in on him. Eric being Eric, the topic of guys came up almost right away. I sort of had to humor his questions, and humoring him is what led me to think seriously about whether I want to date Ty. Afterward, I went to pay him a visit, and, well, the rest is history. But all those little pieces came together to create that outcome. What if I hadn't worked for Lucas that day? What if Eric had been more careful and hadn't injured himself? What if I had taken Lucas's advice and not gone to visit him? As far as I can see, any of those things could have produced a different outcome. Yeah, wow. It's crazy to think about. There's so many little things that have such a big impact. I assume they had something specific in mind, in which you asked me, right? Can I hear what it is? Oh, well, it's about what I said last night. Last night? Which part exactly? What do you mean, which part? The big thing I talked about, remember? I'd hoped that Axel would give me a refresher on his own free will, and that I wouldn't have to admit that I'd fallen asleep. Alas, I was foolish to think that I'd have had such good luck, especially considering how consistently terrible it was the rest of the time. I gotta be honest, Axel, and I'm sorry about this, but I fell asleep at some point. I don't remember what it is we talked about. What? But we're talking about it for like an hour. Was I responding? Yes. Sort of. You're kind of mumbling mostly. Sorry, Axel. I had a huge day, and I don't remember any of that stuff. But I said so much. I'm sorry, but if it's any consolation, I'm here, and I'm awake now. We've got nothing but time to kill. I'd be happy to listen to whatever it is you have to say. okay, but you better not fall asleep again. You have my word, Axel. So, what's this all about then? Well, it's kind of complicated. Like you said before, love is a crazy complicated thing. I don't really know where to start. I kind of just rambled about it last night, but I guess it helped to organize my feelings a bit. You see, it wasn't all a waste. Not, not helping. So, one thing I'm worried about is Dom. He's acting all weird around Russell. And Russell has been working really hard to try and set us up. He's had so many cool ideas. He brings them up and gets super excited about them. But when he goes to Dom, goes to Dom with them. But then he goes to Dom with them. And he's always busy, always at work, always has other stuff that he's doing. I don't even think some of those things are real. I think he makes up excuses. But why would he do that? You two always seem to enjoy the hip. To be seemed joined at the hip. Right, I was like, wait, where did I hear the hip before? The smoke room. Why wouldn't he want to go somewhere and do something cool with you? That's what I don't understand. That didn't seem like the Dom we had met in the arcade that day. Back then, he and Axel seemed thick as thieves, and they were practically did everything together. What changed since then? What reasons were there for Dom to start shutting Axel out all of a sudden? The first thing that came to mind was them living together. There was always a significant difference between having a friend and actually living with that friend. It was always a risky venture, always something that could put untold strain on the friendship. You would quickly learn who that person really was. You figure out all their annoying habits and frustrating quirks. Yeah, kind of like how certain members of my family don't do the dishes or hoard the dishes up in their bedroom or leave stuff in the dishwasher, the dishwasher, but also the laundry and the dryer, and don't deal with it for like hours and hours and hours. Stuff like that. Anyways, while Diego and I had met as dorm mates and managed to foster a relationship regardless, there were times it wasn't really easy for either of us. Diego had a tendency to be messy for one. He was lazy when it came to his chores and would often leave things unfinished. And he could really be loud sometimes. A real pain when you're studying or sleeping. Thankfully, these bad habits of his generally improved over time, and the two of us got along well. That little things like that were usually easy to overlook. I had no doubt that he had his own series of frustrations with me as well. Could it really be as simple for Axel? Maybe living together is putting a strain on their relationship? Or perhaps it is something else related to the change in their living situation. It sure seemed like a decent hypothesis, and a lead worthy of further investigation. How are things at the new apartment, Axel? Still getting on okay even though you're living together all the time? The costs aren't too expensive for either of you, are they? Things are fine, I think. Dom hasn't said anything, but he's still been acting weird, and I'm doing okay. I think Dom is too. It's the same thing though. He hasn't said anything, so I don't really know for sure. If my theories held any water, it would be borderline impossible to know while Axel himself knew so little about the situation. I couldn't rule out the living situation, but I sure couldn't confirm it in any way either. So, what else could it be? Employment stress? Neither had recently changed jobs that I was aware of, and they both seemed to be fairly content in their positions as well. An illness, perhaps? I had no reason to believe Dom was ill. What else had changed? I saw no reason that my arrival in Woodcrest, nor my comings and goings with Ty, could have any bearing on their circumstances. It had to be something else I was overlooking. Something obvious. Could he be somebody that's receptacle to pheromones? It makes me sad for us too. keeps putting so much work into his plans, making these really cool dates with all sorts of fun stuff planned. Then Dom turns it down, and his hard work is wasted, again and again. He keeps smiling no matter what. He tells me it's no big deal, and that we'll get it next time. I feel bad for him, but he's cheering me up instead. Every time Dom says no, I feel a little worse. Could all this somehow be related to Russell? I had spoken with Dom on the matter several times before. I had recognized the signs early on. He had seen Russell's presence as a threat to a potential relation between himself and Axel. I knew that one of Axel's primary concerns here was that Dom was simply not interested in going out with him, but Dom himself had stated quite the opposite. And, in all fairness, Dom's behavior towards Russell had come right after I broached the topic with him, at least from what I could see. Right, yeah. Axel, of course, mentioned that his behavior was still unusual. Perhaps he had put on an act in my presence to fool me into thinking the two are all buddy-buddy, when that wasn't really the case at all. Of course, it did beg the question of why Dom felt continuously threatened by Russell. But there's one other clue, a very strong clue, that which I'd yet to consider. At the hot springs, Dom mentioned a name that was unfamiliar to me. Ethan. Oh yeah, I forgot about him. He had never mentioned this before, and so far had not mentioned it again either. From what I could gather, Ethan had been Dom's friend, or a friend of Dom's, at some point, and the relationship had progressed into something romantic, only to fall apart catastrophically, taking that friendship with it. Of course, this theory is based on several unfounded assumptions. Could Dom's reluctance simply be a withdrawal prompted by the added pressure from Russell, combined with the fear of putting this relationship with Axel in danger and being irreparably harmed? Should things take a turn for the worse? At the very least, it seemed feasible, but knowing almost nothing concrete about the situation made it also a challenge to diagnose and address. Dom had indicated that Russell did not know about this Ethan. However, lacking better options, I decided to ask asking Axel was worth a shot. Axel, have you ever heard of a person named Ethan? Huh? I went to school with an Ethan once. I scratched my chin as I considered the possibility. Axel's schooling had been placed in Summersvale, had taken place, but had no idea as to where Dom had grown up. Had he even told me before? Either way, I could only assume it was not in Summersvale, thus ruling out the unlikely coincidence of Ethan being Axel's classmate. I don't suppose Dom has ever mentioned that name to you, has he? Huh? No. Why? Should he have? No, I was just wondering is all. Should I ask him about it when I see him? Honestly, I wouldn't if I were you. But why not? Because I only so much as heard the name and the end of the very awkward conversation Dom clearly didn't want to be having with me. I don't think he'd be any more pleased if it were you asking. And I bet he'd be pissed if I said something about it to you too. It might not be anything, and asking him about it will probably make things worse. I don't think you should say anything to him about it, okay? Will you keep it to yourself for now? Okay. Which meant that beyond the unusual interactions between Dom and Russell, I had largely run out of viable options. I also doubted that pursuing that specific detail would provide the answers that Axel thought. But I also vaguely remembered something Axel had said the night before. Something about a swimming competition? Perhaps something in the story could shed some light on things. Hey Axel, I seem to recall you saying something about a swimming competition last night. What was that about? What? Of course you don't remember the really awkward part. If you don't want to tell me, I understand. I'm just trying to find out as much stuff as as I can to give you a further picture of what's going on. The more I know, the better equipped I am to help. But why that? How is that going to help you? Well, it's exactly it. I missed out on most of that story. I don't know if it'll contain something useful, but then again, it might just contain some detail that blows this case wide open. It's up to you if you want to tell me though, okay? No pressure at all. Russell and I made to the Nationals for swimming. We were the only kids from school that did, and the Nationals were being held in Cydonia. Because it was just 2 kids, they didn't bother with high-capacity stuff like normal. They just set us up in a hotel. Coach was next door. He checked on us a bunch to make sure we weren't doing bad stuff. Like, there's a story in our school that was famous where kids set fire to a mattress on a similar trip, set off the sprinklers, evacuated the whole hotel, and flooded it too. That seems a bit extreme. Apparently, the kid cost the school 6 figures of damages. He got expelled, but was kind of a legend years and years later at that school, which is kind of why Coach checked in on us a lot. We weren't bad kids, it was just kind of what they did after that. Anyway, there were these big gaps between our events, and the whole thing was spread over several days. School hadn't planned anything else for us to do, and didn't want to spend the money. So, we spent heaps of time in our hotel room, just watching lots and lots of TV and stuff. The TV back home had only 4 channels. This one had like a gazillion, and Skinamax. They'd blocked the cool stuff though, like the bloody movies. They didn't even let us watch M-rated. Can you do that in a hotel? Like if you had kids in different rooms, just say, hey, block these things? Oh, no. Ouch, that's rough. Every night, Coach would go to bed at like 11, so pretend to be asleep when he came to check in on us. Then, no more checks till the morning. So Russ was messing with the TV, and it went all weird all of a sudden, and turned off. We were worried we'd broken it. We had nothing else to do, except each other. But then, he got it working again, and when it came back up, all the cool movies were there. I learned a bunch of new swear words, like bottom. Mom grounded me for repeating them though. So it was quite late in the week, and we watched most of the cool stuff we could find. So Russ was digging deeper, seeing what we could find. Shit, I wish I brought popcorn. I think you can see exactly where this is headed. He found the porno channels, right? Yep. It was so weird and crazy. We'd never seen anything like that before. It was kind of confusing at first. We didn't really get why people were doing those things, but they seemed to be having a really good time. And so, Russ suggested that we try some of this stuff if they were really fun, yeah, that's what happened. Oh shit, how about that then? It's a fun little story, but I don't think I gleaned anything useful from it. Sorry, Axel. So is it just hand jobs, mouth stuff, anal? Tell me what you got. But I understand. Sorry, Axel. It was worth a shot. What we did? Wait, was what we did weird? What? Nah, no way. Almost everybody has those experiences like that. It's just part of growing up. With a shitty sex ed, plenty of kids wind up educating themselves in similar ways. I had that experience like that myself. Boy, I remember sex ed because I went to Texas school, elementary school, and then middle school and early part of high school and international school in Trinidad, and then came back to the United States for the later part of high school. Boy, there were so many pregnant girls in high school. Okay, maybe not so many. I wasn't looking around, but you could see, enough that you could count on more than one hand. Granted, it was just, and when I mean pregnant, I don't mean they had a little thing. I mean they were 9 months pregnant kind of thing. But yeah, gotta love schools that are
Well, if you do something with somebody, that's a sin. Don't do it until you're married. Also, we're not gonna tell you what it is.
But what if we really liked it? Then that's awesome. Everybody wins, right? But what if we keep doing it? Kept. Well, like I said, experiences. It often happens more than once. Besides, it was only while you were in Sidonia, right? How long did this continue for? Until I moved to Woodcrest. That's kind of interesting. Such a shy guy, and it's like, yeah, we did... who knows what, until he came here. Oh. But wait, I got the impression that you guys were younger when you went to that contest. Huh? So, you telling me, what, a couple years? 5. Yeesh. Despite seemingly like the most innocent member of my extended circle, it seemed like Axel had a wealth of very hands-on experience that none of us could have predicted, nor accounted for. Who knew you're such a stud, huh? We didn't do it all the time, just occasionally. It was kind of helpful too because we have different stuff. I'm amazed you guys got that far. Well, with a phobia of yours, I guess you were already comfortable enough with Russell by that point, huh? He's the only person I've ever been able to do that with. I see. Well, I can think of one good piece of advice to give you at least. Uh-huh. Make sure Dom doesn't hear about it. That can only be bad news. But why? Wouldn't it be better to tell him? About, like, how he did, like, every single position for 5 years, and now he's my best friend here? I don't really see that being his business. What happened in the past stays in the past, right? But healthy relationships are built on trust, and to earn trust, you have to be honest. Huh? I don't want a relationship where I have to hide things. That's not a real relationship. How could I have been so dense? Had that crazy nightmare that I had taught me nothing? Of course Axel's right. It might have been an uncomfortable topic, and it might things weirder still between Dom and Russell. But at least there were no secrets to hide. At least with everything out in the open, they could start a strong and mutual trust right from the get-go. Really, it was no difference to how I had to tell Ty about Logan. Logan was my friend. Sure, things had happened, but no commitments had been broken. Everything was strictly above board. I wanted to date Ty, but I wouldn't do so if it cost me my friendship. No matter what had transpired, Ty would have no right to ask of me. And Russell was Axel's friend. Sure, things had happened, but no commitments had been broken. Everything was strictly above board. Axel wanted to date Dom, but you're completely right, Axel. I'm sorry. That was bad advice I was about to give. Instead, let me impart you some good advice. Only date Dom if it doesn't cost you your friendship with Russell. No matter what has transpired, Dom will have no right to ask that of you. Don't worry. I won't let him anyway. Good. That's really smart of you, Axel. I reckon you'll do fine. Huh? But I haven't told you everything yet. Eh? What, there's more? Yeah, promise to keep this a secret? Of course, my lips are sealed. Okay, before I moved to Woodcrest, I had feelings for Russell. The shark? Oh shit, here we go. But, like, I don't understand. I didn't know how to tell him. I didn't know if he felt the same. So wait, you guys were just fucking, and it wasn't... So wait, you've been fucking for 5 years, and it wasn't like, ooh, I actually like you. It's like, I mean, I guess. I don't know. If these guys don't have a lot of access to porn, then I guess you're gonna have to do it somehow. I didn't know if you felt the same. I was too scared. Too scared to find out. So I ran away. To Woodcrest. I even changed my number. I hope that he'd just forget me. Okay, seriously, my dude. You guys have been fucking for 5 years, and you're like, I wonder if he likes me. It's like... Ooh, has that been there the entire time? Bugger. Wait, so you did change your number on him? I didn't know what else to do. And then I started liking Dom instead. But now Russell's here too. What if Dom and I got together? Would I regret that? What if Russell feels that way about me? Would dating Dom hurt him? Or if we got together with Russ, would that hurt Dom? I don't want to hurt anybody. I'd rather just hurt myself instead. Like last time. Axel understood how he felt. Just like me, he had found himself amid a complex situation that posed a risk of harming people close to him. Unfortunately for Axel, the solution to his particular set of circumstances wasn't quite so clear-cut. If he had been up front with Russell in the first place and hadn't run away, he wouldn't have found himself in this mess. If he had found himself the courage to act sooner in pursuit of Dom, the two might already be together, or Axel might be free to pursue something with Russell. But instead, his cowardice had exacerbated the situation. It seemed to me like there was no easy solution. I could empathize with Axel. I certainly wouldn't want to be in his shoes. But it didn't change the fact that he was largely responsible for the things getting this bad. Thankfully, it dawned me that Axel's fear of risking his friendships by revealing his romantic desires seemed to be a good match for what little I knew on Dom's own hesitation. It wasn't necessarily a solution, but it seemed like the best avenue to take. I think you should try talking to Dom about how you feel. That you're scared about hurting your friendships because of the romantic feelings. I have a feeling that he'll understand. He might even get some advice to you. Maybe you'll even find some common ground? What? But... I'm scared. Tears began to swell up in Axel's eyes. I sprang to action, offering reason, assistance, and my shoulder should be required. I know you're Axel, and don't worry. It's normal to find situations like that scary. Everybody does. But just think, if you found the courage sooner with either Dom or Russell, you wouldn't be in this situation right now. It's all your fault. And the longer you leave it, the messier it's gonna get. You can't just wait and hope things will work out. And you can't keep running from it. Sometimes you have to just take the bull by the horns, like Lucas. And you've got friends who will be here for you, no matter what happens, okay? Myself included. I'm only a phone call away. Axel dried his tears on his shirt. The fortunate choice of black hiding the wet patch as he looked back at me, smiling appreciatively. Thanks, Adrian. I know you're right. I'll try my best. It'll work out one way or another, okay? It might not be what you're expecting. It might not be what you're hoping for. But there'll come a time when you can look back and be glad you did it. Yeah. You're really wise, Adrian. I'm actually a total idiot. I've made a heap of really stupid mistakes. The whole thing with that is a perfect example of that. With Ty is a perfect example of that. But a wise man is not one who doesn't make mistakes. A wise man makes many mistakes, but learns from every single one. You even sound wise. You're amazing, Adrian. Do you feel that way too? What with that happening with Ty? Precisely the same way. I know I'm in this situation because of the mistakes I've made along the way, and I know that the only way forward is to take responsibility for all those mistakes and to do the right thing. And I know there's no guarantee things are going to work out the way I want them to, and if what happens And if that happens, only have myself to blame. But at the very least, while I no doubt regret the mistake I made, I will not regret doing the right thing now. Yeah, good luck, Adrian. Good luck to you too, Axel. Remember, I'm here for you if you need me. Even if I'm going through my own thing, don't hesitate to call out to me when you need me, okay? Yep, same to you. I know, I may not be the best at this stuff, but I'll try my hardest. After passengers will be arriving at the station in Woodcrest shortly. Once you stop, please gather any luggage that you may have brought on board and make your way off the train in an orderly fashion. Thank you for riding with us, and please enjoy your time at Woodcrest. Oh, we're arriving already. Time flies, huh? Yeah, time flies. And with that, and us being 10 minutes over time, scene change. We're gonna call it. So, and if this Let's Play is comment, yes, I like comments. Tell me you like, dislike, tips, tricks, otherwise. If you like my YouTube and would like to see it grow, then please subscribe and check out various stuff. But, these are many new animals to help prevent the growth of the pet population, because that is something important to me, you know? And until next time, another Let's Play. By me, GamerWolfSix, beside Leo, Tales of New Dawn. A game that you can get free on itch.io, which if you want to support the people that make this game or get the news version earlier, you can go to Patreon. $5 a month, $54 a year. And until next time, GamerWolfSix, beside Leo. Thanks to you.